My name is Fred Willett. I was born in Bellingham, Washington, and raised in Oregon, from which I went to the Navy recruiting office. I graduated from high school in 1943 and immediately tried to join the Navy. I went to the Navy recruiting office in Portland, Oregon with a group of my classmates from Springfield High School in Springfield, Oregon. And they were all accepted for immediate duty in the Navy. I was turned down as having flat feet. They received 3 days of equipment issue, uniform issue, and went immediately to sea from Portland. And I missed out on that. So later on, I went down to San Francisco and volunteered there, and I was breathing, so I was taken in and sent to boot camp in Farragut, Idaho. And that was not the greatest place in the world to be, but I spent 8 weeks in boot camp there, and during that 8 weeks I took examinations that I had no idea what they were for, but I found out later on that I had qualified for the Naval ROTC program. Well, not the ROTC, the V-12, which was the wartime equivalent. And but I decided no, I wanted to get out to sea and fight the war. So I said I didn't want to go. And they said, well, if you don't want to go, don't turn up for the orders, which I thought I did. And about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I was in the barracks, and a man who had been in the boot company, same boot company with me, Bill Blasick, I'll never forget the man's name, came in and in some Navy-like language, handed me my checkout slip and said, go sign for your pay and let's get out of here. And I ended up going to college in the V-12 program, and as a result, I was commissioned an ensign in 1946 and was assigned to duty on board the USS Shelton, the destroyer. It was commissioned the same day I was, as a matter of fact, in Seattle. And I was fortunate to have some excellent skippers on there in 3.5 years that I was on board, and learned a lot. And it held me in good stead from then on in the Navy. I also served in a small sonar training ship, a PCS, where we trained sonarmen to operate sonar equipment. I served a 2-year tour on a carrier during the Korean War, the Kearsarge, where I again learned a lot because I'd never been involved in those operations before, and particularly resupply operations. We had a supply fleet which we would rendezvous with and then go alongside, and here we were bringing a 40,000-ton carrier alongside an 8,000-ton supply ship, and we had to maintain station on them with a 100-foot separation between the ships. And it was a tedious operation, but it's the way we worked. And I also went on board. I had command of an LST for one tour of duty, and took the LST from San Diego to Japan. And lucky me, I was assigned the task of loading what were called pontoon causeways. They were pontoon causeways we loaded on the side of the ship and launched to be shoved up to the beach to provide a ramp to the beach for heavy equipment on a beaching operation. And I took those from Japan to Okinawa, and then went into the Philippines, and then into Hong Kong. And we were with just the two ships. One ship was assigned to come with me. And from there, we received orders that we were going to be decommissioned. It was a big surprise because we had completely supplied the ship for the next new line supply run. But we were ordered back to the West Coast and decommissioned. And my last tour of duty was aboard a survey ship out of New York, where we went to the Persian Gulf for 8 months. And we were working with the Royal Navy and surveying the entire Persian Gulf, frankly, for the benefit of the oil industry, to bring big tankers in there. And we completed that. And my last tour was in the hydrographic office. But just before I went to the LST, I had been in Alaska for 2 years on shore up there. Other than that, very little time ashore, frankly. And my last tour was in the hydrographic office, from which I retired in 1963. Well, while I was still in the Navy at the Oceanographic Office, there was a conference of oceanographic equipment suppliers at the Oceanographic Office, and one of the displays was a scale model of the Cousteau diving saucer. Yes. I had my wife Margie with me, and she said, if you ever get involved in that, it'll kill you. And as it turns out, Westinghouse picked me to be their operations manager in the operation of the diving saucer and the future operation of the Deep Star 4000, which they had contracted Cousteau to build for them.